hope everybody had a great weekend. Emotional but happy weekend here. We are going to jump right in with the starting point for today that has a whole bunch of layers in the background, and then I'm going to be using 3x4 photos on top of it. But we're going to build that background first so that then you could finish it up any direction that you would like from there. And that's going to use a lot of my Live the Dream collection, plus a few of the other fun bits that we've got in the June set of supplies here for Best of Both Worlds. Right, let's have a look at what we've made with this kit so far. We have done 2 pages so far. This one was on Friday, 2 4x6, and then a color blocked piece here, and build out from there, and mostly a big line of die cuts across the middle here, which might look familiar in tactic to those of you who did the Scrap and Learn weekend, because I taught a double page layout that included lines of die cuts in that one too. Right, and then last Monday we did this starting point where we started with a piece across the middle here, and I did 3x4 photos that day too. 2 up here, but then I wanted more than that, so I added 2 down here as well. So that's what we've made with the June supplies so far. We've got some photos here today. But as it is a starting point, that means I'm going to, oh, what's happened there? Okay, no, you are live. YouTube just did this weird thing and it just had the thumbnail still showing. And I'm like, well, why are we not? We are. I don't know what it did. Okay, anyway, we're going to start with the starting point, and then these are the photos that I've got to use today. They are also from our trip to Kansas City, but they are not from Marceline this time. You'll be so impressed. These are from a place called the Rabbit Hole. And if you go to Kansas City with children or with a love of children's literature, I highly recommend it. So it is an interactive space where children's literature is brought to life and then some, because like it's not even just their size, it's bigger. So you can see the man with all the caps for sale is significantly bigger than a human. I know he's Diddy, but he is, yeah, this guy's huge. And so forth. And really, really lovely. Would I say the target audience is a little bit younger than WB? Yes, but also WB had an amazing time there and really, really loved it. So I would definitely say look it up. It's in North Kansas City. So it's not a place that you'll find by mistake. In fact, there's not a sign outside. So you have to kind of be aware of where you're going. But highly recommended. Was really, really lovely. Enjoyed. Great for dramatic kids as well as kids who like children's books. Yeah, and I loved that there was just so much handmade creative art in the whole space. Nothing looked like overly machined. Everything looked like it had been crafted by people's hands with love to great detail. And so I applaud anything that goes, you know what, we have this vision and we're going to hire a bunch of artists to make it happen. Yeah, the whole cycle of the creation of a place like that, I love it. Bend and snap, do 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 do. Oh, we're in a higher key this afternoon. Anyway, so that's what's going to go on this layout in the end. I actually have quite a few more, so I might just put 3 on the layout and then do a pocket page facing to put in all the other photos, but that is getting ahead of myself. That is counting chickens way before. So we will put those away and get the papers out so that we can create this layered background that I want to make today. We have all of this fun stuff to work with. This is our background pack, which is Vicky B's 49 in Market Flower Emporium collection. And then we have a couple pieces from Simple Stories, and we have a whole bunch of Live the Dream, which is my last American Crafts collection. Well, my latest American Crafts collection. Who knows? Right. Interestingly, I didn't know it was going to be branded as We Are Makers. That was news to me when I got the samples. I don't think it matters, but that's an awful lot of brand names. We Are Makers by American Crafts with Shimelle. Like, how many things do we need? Then Live the Dream. All right, so that's what we're going to use today. Let me introduce myself, and then we will get going. Georgia says it's 7 years ago today that I did the all Shimelle Go-Go weekend. That was Box of Crayons. That's 7 years ago. Oh, my goodness. That means 7 and a bit years ago, I had that desk that had an entire border of crayons. I was very proud that we could make that happen. It was a vision, and it worked. Hi! My name's Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime a scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure you're aware of that. So thank you for coming to watch my hashtag advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, watch from Tomorrowland, quiet, craft, don't craft, think about coming back to craft or picking up a new craft, all of it. And all the links you're probably going to need are in the description box. And there's even a discount code today. So the supplies I'm using this month, they're labeled the June collection, a June shopping list, June kit, whatever you want to call it. And then next month's supplies are already listed there, and they're the July ones. So if you wanted to order next month's supplies with that 10% off code today, you can do that. So there's a link to click through, and then the discount code today is summer in all caps. And that'll get you 10% off your whole order at scrapbook.com. But you can use that link to get there, and that throws a little commission back my way to make all these videos possible, and I really super duper appreciate it. So thank you. You can also find how to take my classes, which are on Shimelle.com. You can find my Facebook group, my Instagram account, all that sort of stuff. If you want to journal about kids, WB has a workbook that's all about that, and it's an instant download, and it can help you if you are getting stuck on writing stuff about kids in your life, whether they're yours or just ones that end up in your life and on your pages. And all of that goes to anything from his workbook. It goes to fund his training, and summer's coming up soon, so he's going to try and figure out what should be workbook number 2 or something like that. But anybody who wants that, it does go toward his summer training, and that's super awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. That's enough of my hashtag advertising. Let's scrapbook. Boop. All right. Bam has lots of box of crayons. Ooh, Nikki says the alpha stamps, the bracelet stamps, are back in stock. And Georgia says WB workbooks are really good and well worth the price. Thank you. It was really fun working with him on that, so I hope that he has some equally fun plan for this summer, because I know he has equally a huge list of what he wants to do. So we better do some fundraising. Right. Anyway, moving on. So I've got a little plan for my layering today. So I'm just going to have a little refresh of what's here. The cookies might actually work. That goes like with Tiger, the tiger who came to tea, right? Yeah. Oh, and the pretzels. The churros, I mean. Churros. Yeah. I mean, tigers eat churros. And gummy bears. There's so much food in this collection, Shimelle. What were you thinking? Just get hungry every time you scrapbook. All right. That one's still a full sheet. Okay, so we have all of this. Do a little quick flip so that we know what's on the other side is all that. Okay. Let's go back the other way. Whoop. There we go. Now, I got a little plan here. So we need one for the outside background that's not too busy. But I'm also not opposed to making it gummy bears. Oh, or there's a lot of orange in this. Okay, I think bring the orange into the foreground, which means let's go a little plainer with the background. Let's start here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to use the doodly notebook paper, but if you wanted it plainer, you could also do the one that doesn't have any doodles. It's the same exact design, it just doesn't have the doodles. It's okay. So we shall start here. Hello, Chris, who is actually live. Hello to Georgia, Nikki, Victoria, Pam, Lisa, Jessica, Kathy, Ann, Pam. Oh, I already said Pam, but Pam gets double. Joanna, Michelle, Catherine. Oh, it's okay because we had 2 Pams. It's all good. You each got one. Lisa. Tara, Jenna. Why does it not let me scroll up anymore? There we go. Kathy, Heather, Kirsty, Trish, Beatrix, Elaine, Lisa, Tiffany. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I didn't mean to, but I think I got everybody. And Virginia. All right. So starting with this background, and let me just fix this so we're not so wonky. Can we stay there, little tripod, please? Okay. There we go. And then I need some boxes that I go on top of this. Okay. So I want an 8x8 square in the middle. Now, I could go with that orange, but I kind of like the churros, and I think it works. So let's do it. I mean, I say I kind of like it as if I hope I like everything. It's in my collection. It does get annoying when you draw something and then by the time it comes out, you don't like it anymore. That's never fun. It's not a nice feeling. Okay, so I'm going to make an 8x8 square of this one. Cool. So that is going to go in the middle, which is nice and handy. It basically goes exactly from doodle to doodle. We like that. And then, oh, Rita needs another sheet of this because originally she was going to detail cut it, and then she changed her mind. Pam says, what is WB's book? So in the description box with the video, there's a link to WB's writing workbook, and it's an instant download PDF that is, I can't remember how many pages it is, but it's like a workbook to help you journal with and about children. So ways to get them talking, things to think about when you're like, I have lots of pictures of their face and I don't know what stories to tell. Lots of different things that you could then pair with those kind of things. Yeah, and it's all stuff that he came up with, and then he sat down with me to make sure that it would work for adults because, you know, he's a kid. But really, I just had to kind of adapt a few little things to say this needs to be a little bit more helpful to grown-ups, and he came up with ways to do that. We formatted it all into a little workbook where you can write notes straight away, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. Rebecca says, wasn't WB thinking about doing something with branding strips? He was at one point. I'll have to ask him if he's still on a branding strip kick. He does come and steal them from my desk still, but mostly to like fold up like they're his version of a fidget toy, I guess. He likes to fold them up and then pass them back. Right, so then I want another color to mat this, basically, and let's use one of the background pack papers for that. So I do have a pink that's pretty similar to the pink that's in there. Or what is the light blue like? Ooh, don't lose photos off the desk. The light blue is not really a great match to what's in my pictures. Okay, I'll leave that for now then. I think the pink is the winner. Yeah, let's go pink. And Pam says, all her kids are grown. She doesn't need that. Yeah, I mean, Georgia doesn't have kids, and but it depends on what you're scrapbooking rather than what you have in your household. Make sense? Oh, I want ink today. Yeah, let's ink. Oh, yay, Yazy. Is that a new word? Yazy. Nikki says, yay for the first Glitter Girl video because she had questions about memorabilia and tickets and things like that. And I said, oh, the very first Glitter Girl episode ever was about that. I can't remember all of them exactly to what episode they are. Oh, Michelle says it's 12 pages. She just bought it. There we go. Thank you. So, da, 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 da. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice. Because Georgia, I mean, can I out you, Georgia? When Georgia started watching here, she really basically never journaled. Am I right? Like, it's not her thing. Just pictures and pretty paper, and then she was done. But since, like, hanging out here, she was thinking, maybe I write. And she said, although she really just bought it to support WB, it's been useful for making her think more about the journaling because that was not her strong point. And I'm very proud of Georgia and anybody else who takes a journey into journaling and goes, hey, actually, this might be useful for me and I might feel great about it in the end. And if you ever had a teacher who made you feel like you can't write, if I can help you prove them wrong, I'm here for that. I'm sorry you had a rubbish teacher. And I'm here, along with WB apparently, to help. Georgia says her level of journaling was me in London 2020. Okay, so we got these 2 layers so far. And then we're going to do some strips top and bottom. So I wanted to bring in the cookie paper. C is for cookie. If I got to name papers in this collection, which I did not, they just have numbers. Boring. But if I did, this one was totally going to be called C is for cookie. I think I would be allowed to use that because, I don't know, it might not be able to. Might not have been able to, but in my head. And so therefore now you can have it in your head. This paper is called C is for cookie. Okay. And if anybody has photos of, a child and or a cookie monster, and you title your layout C is for cookie, please, please, please share it and tag me because it will make my ever-loving day. Because I was very excited about a C is for cookie paper. Hi. I was raised on Sesame Street. I love Sesame Street. I never want Sesame Street to end. And Cookie Monster, he's my mate. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have, I know it's shocking, but this one's going to go toward the doodles here, and the one at the bottom is going to go toward those doodles there. Diagonal. Okay. So I'm going to bring it just up to the doodles. Oh, I will never apologize for putting Sesame Street songs in anybody's head. If you're my era of Sesame Street and you didn't ever go watch it with a younger generation too, may I suggest the Janelle Monáe guest spot where she sings The Power of Yet on Sesame Street. It's joyous, and still to this day, I know I'm not a Sesame Street target audience now. I'm supposedly a grown-up, but if I feel rubbish and like not able to do the stuff, that song makes me feel better. You can analyze me all you want. If that makes me some sort of oversimplified adult, I don't really mind. It probably does, but I'm just sharing. It's beautiful. And you can tell that Georgia is younger than me because Elmo is her fave. So Elmo I have come to love in my old age here, but Elmo was not on Sesame Street when I was watching. And so that was a kind of interesting, maybe I go that one. Like change, I had trouble accepting. No, I don't like the repeat of the pink. Maybe I just do cookies both sides. Or do we do some bracelets at the bottom? Oh, Georgia has been to the set of Sesame Street. Okay, I love that. All right. Pam loved Grover. I love Grover and Super Grover. Super Grover has my heart. I think he's in The Power of Yet, if I'm remembering correctly. Grover is definitely in there, but I think possibly even Super Grover. All right, so I'm going to use this one that says Dream Big as the bottom layer. Yes, cookies and churros and doodles. Oh my. That's where we are today. Oh, George is like, well, I've been to the set at Universal. It's okay. It's still cool. Yes. Nora Jones saying, I don't know why, as in the letter Y. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter Y. Brilliant. And full credit to Elmo. He did, what was it on? It was on some account the other day. He did a little game where they show a little bit of cover art or something, and Elmo has to identify the singer. But it was all either singers who'd been on Sesame Street or characters like Rubber Ducky and Cookie Monster. Like, it was adorable. See you later, Victoria. I loved Oscar as a child, and sometimes very much identify with Oscar as an adult. So you are all good, Nikki. Right, so we have this many layers. Focus, Shimelle. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. I love that we're talking about Sesame Street right after Muppet Vision closed. Jim Henson projects. They are wholesome. Okay, so I want to go. Do I go here and here? I think so. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do 2 areas of die cutting. Or not die cutting, putting die cuts on the page. Yes, I love the count. WB still will every once in a while like be counting something and then just put an in there, and it fits his personality very much. So excellent. Okay, let's remember what words we have here, because I want to use one of them kind of here, and I have these words and I have the thickers. Oh, don't know why it's stuck in my head now. Busch Gardens has a Sesame Street area. Yes, it does. I was trying to remember if it was Busch Gardens or SeaWorld that has Sesame Street. Right, so we've got all of these. And we've got these. Oh, there's an adorable. Let's find the adorable. Like that. Yes. Okay. If you didn't watch last week, we have a strategy. Keeping this in my scrap space where I can see all the words at a glance, and as I use them, sharpening them off so that I know what I have left. The only problem is that every time I put it where I can see it, it slides like that. So I have to put it over here. Okay. Oh, Pam says in Dallas they used to have a Sesame Street park. I went to Sesame Street live when I was in the 4th grade, and I was trying to pretend like I was too old and too cool for Sesame Street. I was not. And secretly I was loving it. And Big Bird threw balls into the audience, and I caught one, and I just kept it like on my lap because I was afraid that somebody would like come and take it away from me. And I kept that ball all the way through. I'm sure it's in my mother's basement in some sort of box of saved things, because I never let it go. I did not let my little sister play with it. I did not let my dog play with it. That was my ball from Big Bird. Oh, my husband is laughing at me, as he should. All right, let's have some die cuts that we can put on both sides. So we want some over here and some up here. What do the sketchy blue ones look like in terms of what we've got left in the sketchy blue stuff? Because that matches the doodly background. We could definitely use that. We've got a cookie. What's that one? Peace sign. sunshine here and a cloud. My pencil. So we basically have all the pieces that are drawn on the background plus these text bits. Music note. Okay. Now, if I want the gummy bears, I do have 3 of them. Put a little flower there. All right, and I have 3 of these holographic foil stars. So I might use that. Oh my goodness. Corey says, at SeaWorld at Christmas on Sesame Street, Cookie Monster sings Mariah Carey to a giant cookie, and it's fever dream worthy but glorious and one of the happiest Christmas performances she's ever seen. I love that. Allison's Sesame Street memory is when she started her teacher training in the late 70s. It was shown as an oh wow moment of this is class as American, like, oh, like that's what American life looked like. Right. So die cuts going in different places here. What shall we have? We've also got a rainbow. And what's in the cut apart sheet? Because we've got my cut apart and Vicky's cut apart. So that might be helpful in order to get a variety of sizes here. Use your cut aparts with your die cuts. All right, because I'm also going to need somewhere to write. Oh, because it was an American educational program and the tutors were absolutely flabbergasted. Yeah. Oh, Michelle just got her first D-ring 12 by 12. It's just arrived in the post. Amazing. We love that. Right. Oh, that this was classed as educational. Oh my goodness, I never learned as much as I learned from that program. So I get that it would be different, but Sesame Street taught me an awful lot. Welcome to Gen X Life. We were taught by the TV. Yes, I still count, like I'm not fluent by any stretch of the imagination, but I've done a fair bit of Spanish. And I still count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because of Sesame Street. And then I don't have any song after that, and I just count like a normal person. How disappointing. Okay. I think we used this journaling piece that matches the background paper. Hello, Sarah. Corey and her husband met the count and got really emotional because they were telling him that he taught them how to count, and Corey's kids thought they were nuts. But also Electric Company, yes. And weren't there 3? My brain has just forgotten. Weren't there 3? Sesame Street, Electric Company, and there was one more. What was it? Help me, Corey. But yeah, the whole set. Justine feels like she has a huge gap being a Brit who did not grow up on Sesame Street. It's okay. You have completely other things that I had to figure out when I got here. Make that fit across there, or do we put that one up here, I think? get all these pieces off. Oh, Reading Rainbow wasn't the same company, but I adored it. Butterfly in the Sky. And I do remember Romper Room as well, although I didn't watch it nearly as much. Electric Company. Sesame Street. What was the third one? I swear there were 3. Okay. We are going to just look up Children's Television Workshop and see what else there was. What am I thinking of? Oh my goodness. They've done a million projects and they're all on this long list. Okay, other series. 3, 2, 1 Contact. That's the one I'm thinking of. Sorry, that was probably loud because I got excited. Okay, I knew it was sciencey and I was like, what was it? 3, 2, 1 Contact. And on our PBS, they were in a row. So, yeah. Sarah was thrown off to see Geordie in Star Trek after growing up with him on Reading Rainbow. That's hilarious. Okay. This is a nice color match. And that is a nice color match. Oh! Justine's teenager! Hey, I'm sorry you're feeling rubbish today. I hope that it's a temporary thing. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. Can you ask your teenager what was their favorite? Like, do they have a favorite children's TV show? And does it have songs that I can sing? Maybe I won't if it's going to butcher their wholesome memories. But, you know. Oh, yes. Schoolhouse Rock is never forgotten here. Do you know, the whole time I was teaching, I still use Schoolhouse Rock. And the other day, so WB is reading a book that he bought in the gift shop at the Rabbit Hole. And the main character he's technically called Wallace, but everyone calls him Lolly. And WB, like, he's reading on the plane, and all of a sudden I hear this tiny voice go, Lolly, 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 get your adverbs here. Got a lot of really jolly adverbs here. And I'm like, are they talking about Schoolhouse Rock in your book? And he says, oh no, the main character is just called Lolly. So every time somebody says, hey, Lolly, I think, Lolly, Lolly, Lolly. I'm like, as you would if you were my child. Most definitely. So there we go. Right, where are we going to put this? Are we going up here? Yeah. And then the pink one in the other stack. Oh, Nikki says there's a British equivalent of Reading Rainbow to Star Trek, and it's the story makers and Cat from Red Dwarf. Yes, same thing. Just very talented performers with a love of literature. Okay. Kai says, Fireman Sam is the favorite. Amazing. Oh, I'm sorry that you couldn't make it to the show. This weekend was really emotional at the show because it was the last weekend for this year's cast, year one cast of the revival. So something interesting that I hadn't thought of. So we did cast change at Les Mis as well, where the adults changed but the kids carried on. So I've done a cast change performance in the audience, but I didn't think about how those two shows are so different that the audience reaction would be really, really not the same at all. So in Les Mis, at cast change, there's a lot more applause at Bring Him Home, and maybe one or two other places, but then most of the extra audience emotion and on stage emotion comes in the bows. Yeah? We're going to go here, but I didn't do that in the right direction. But Starlight is a show where you're clapping and sometimes screaming right along. There's a lot of clapping with the songs. So from the opening arpeggio, the whole house just went up. Screams, clapping, all of it. And every time any train went around that track, the whole place just shouted. And it never let up the entire time. And I'm like, wow, this is really different. And I've just never seen it on this sort of show where the audience kind of get more involved. And so WB wasn't on for that show. He did the Saturday, and the Sunday was the finishing one. So we were in the audience, and we were in a spot where they could easily see us. So he got so many little hearts and points and stuff from people who were going, going out. And it was just really, really sweet and emotional. A lot of tears. Happy tears, but tears. Okay, so we're building here. Bring that down to here. And you're, I don't know, lucky / not lucky that I don't know the songs from Fireman Sam. But I could identify Fireman Sam in a lineup. So don't worry, I'm not evil or anything. Should we tuck the little sunshine in like that? No, a little too hard to reach. Okay, so if we're going there, let's bring the sunshine up here a little bit and find something to put in there, I think. As much as I want to put the gummy bears in, I don't think they're going to work. All right. And then, do I do the sunshine here and the cloud up here? Why not? Kai asked Shimelle, what's the fave thing I have performed? Oh. So probably the role I ever had the most fun with it's only a high school production, but I played Ado Annie in Oklahoma in high school, and it was a ride and a half because Ado Annie is like the supporting female character, and it was my last year of high school, and I was kind of thinking that the only part I would want would be Lori, who's like the romantic lead, right? And so when I got Ado Annie, I was actually quite disappointed. And I'm still not liking this placement. Maybe we center it in the pink box. Oh, we move this way. Okay. So when I started, I kind of had that teenage angst of, what am I doing? This is not the plan. But it turned out the casting was correct because the comedy was hilarious, and I got to do a funny accent. I got to do a lot of silly choreography that was like really fun dancing, but it was not just what you would expect. I got to do some partner work in the comedy choreography, which was great. Also, I was 18 and I had to kiss multiple boys in a play. And I started this rehearsal period being like, oh my goodness, this is going to be the end of me. And by the end, I was like, okay, no big deal, right, on we go. And so I think the rehearsal run was 8 weeks. And so that's like a real point where I can just like pinpoint 8 weeks of maturity, where I went from like, I'm being a brat because I didn't get the part I want, and I'm being really kind of grumpy about what I'm going to have to do. And then by the end, just being like, nope, that's it. I can do this. It's all good. Yeah. So I had a great time doing that part, and it was super duper fun. A lot of the roles that I played at university were, I can't think of anything I did at university that was like lighthearted and joyful like that. I did do a lot of roles that were still the comic relief, but not in an Ado kind of way. Yeah. So there we go. Kirsty says Ado is her daughter's dream role, and she's been belting it out since she was 8 years old. Well, that is all right. I still can remember some of the notes we would get, because our notes in that show, the director gave written notes that as you were packing up your stuff, she would just come over and give you these little written slips. And one day, the accompaniment for my solo didn't start when it was supposed to start, and I just started in, and she wrote this little note that was like this. It was kind of like this, and it had all these little stars on the side and over here, and it had a little smiley face with star eyes, which wasn't like an emoji back then because we didn't have emojis. So it was really cute. And she just said, the fact that you can start your song on the right note without any accompaniment, I'm in awe. And I was like, yay! So it's a very, very happy memory to me. Also, I'm really glad it was on the right note, because when the accompaniment did come in, if it had been the wrong note, that would have been awkward. But it wasn't. It was the right note. Yay! So yeah, that's probably the most fun show I ever did. Yeah. On this trip back to Kansas City, though, I ran into an old castmate from when I went back in 2010 and did chess, which I love. Chess as a show so much. I love it. I think we're going to get to work on one of the songs from Chess in choir soon, and I'm very excited. But yeah, I loved chess, and that was a really fun little adventure where I got off the plane and my mom said, we're going to rehearsal because you're in chess. Am I? I did not audition for chess, but okay. I knew the show, so it was fine. Do, do, do. All right, so we're going to move that one down here into this gap. What I'm wondering is about where this needs to sit. Why can I not get this straightened? This is ridiculous. I keep messing it up. There we go. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. George's favorite was Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Excellent. Okay, is that where I want to leave the starting point? Let me look at my notes. This is not stuck, right? Yeah. I feel like I need that color to come in here. What do I have that I can make that work? Because you know what I really want is this as a B-side, because, you know, we don't have that. That would be too easy. Do I just... No, I don't like... It's too boxy that way. Okay. What if I bring this down here? That's going to be better. That's where we're going to do the starting point. Okay. Are you ready? Earthquake coming right up. Got it? Yes. Okay. I'm glad that I learned how to do the one-shot earthquake so it didn't have to keep going. Okay, so that's our starting point. Let's put some pictures on it. So I think 3 on this and then 1 in a divided page protector over here. These 3 all have the same sort of color value because this one is enclosed. This is, you walk onto a bus. This is so cool. If you go to the rabbit hole, do not skip this. It's a bus on the uppermost floor, and you go in, and these windows are animated so that the streets are going by like you're on the bus, and the whole thing kind of vibrates like you're on a bus and stops when you go to the bus stop and everything. And it's narrated. There's a storyteller recording in there. And you have the passengers from the story are there and you sit amongst them. It's adorable. Okay, but let's put that over here because these 3 tonally work well together. Yep, 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 yep. I'm glad we've got some Postman Pat singing. That sounds brilliant. All right, we'll have this one. Can you identify the stories? So we have The Tiger Who Came to Tea, Caps for Sale, which all of these monkeys that steal the caps, they are animatronic and they can tell when you walk up to them. So they're quiet from a distance and you walk up and they start moving and talking to you. Ah! It's adorable. Yay. And I was amazed to see Tiger Who Came to Tea in an American museum because I thought Tiger Who Came to Tea was like quintessentially British. It is quintessentially British. Has it infiltrated American picture book world? Or is there somebody who's an Anglophile at the rabbit hole? So Americans who don't know the story, mom and child are home alone and a tiger rocks up on the front step and asks to come to tea. Yes, this is really The Tiger Who Came to Tea, and it's at a place called the Rabbit Hole in Kansas City. So in The Tiger Who Came to Tea, mom and child are home. Tiger shows up and asks if you know he can come to tea, and I think mom gets out tea and cake, as you would, to have afternoon tea. And the tiger eats like the whole plate and drinks the whole teapot and is still hungry. So they end up getting more and more food. And it has really classic lines like, the tiger drank all of Daddy's beer. I don't know why the beer belongs to Daddy and it hasn't, but it's just adorable. I don't know. It's so... It's very sweet and when you get to it, and it just took me by surprise. Every single time I would read it and be like, and all of Daddy's beer. And the tiger gets so thirsty that the tiger drinks all of the water from the tap. Nothing else comes out. And then once the tiger has eaten everything, the tiger leaves. And they can't, mom and child cannot have dinner when Daddy comes home from work. So they all have to go out and get sausage and chips. Then the next time they go to the shopping, the mom buys an extra large tin of tiger food just in case the tiger comes back. But so far, no. Okay, Corey says that book has made it to American shelves. I love it. Right, so we are going to do kind of 3. I was kind of thinking 1 below, but I've made this too low. So maybe I take all of this and move it up a bit. Oh, how far up would I have to move it to make that work, though? It's too big. Okay, maybe we just do 3 in a row across here. All right. Let's swap that around for the diagonals. And then these are the animals from the hat books. Like, this is not my hat, and I want my hat back. And there's an interactive bear that's just amazing because you open his tummy and there's nothing there. But then the next kid who opens his tummy has a rabbit inside. It's so cute. And WB totally fell for it because he didn't realize it would be different every time. And he was like, look! And then there's nothing there. Okay, so I'm going to take this off just for a minute. I'm going to mat these 3, and then we're going to work in how that goes. Color to mat these on. I would love to have that color, but I don't. So let's have a look-see. I could have that color just in a small dose. Tara says today it should read all of Mummy's gin. Yeah, so we'll get the blue by just doing a really small border here. Yes. I love that that works with a tube as well. You have your normal stomach and your pudding stomach, your dessert stomach for your Americans. Yes. I still get this from WB all the time because it'd be like, I'm totally full, but I want my afters. Do you mean that you're not totally full and you've left just this little bit of room? No, I mean my normal stomach is full, but my after stomach needs a little topping up. It's a bit empty. Oh, maybe I want to overlap these. Oh, the border won't be very big though. I should have thought that before. No, I do like it. Okay, let's overlap them. A pudding pocket. Deciding. Do I like them like that? I'm not sure. 2, I always like overlapped. 3, I'm not convinced by. How funny is that? Okay. I'll go back to this plan, I think. All right. Ink on these. So we've got this kind of little corner that we can pop them into there, see? Oh, but that ends up completely square there. So let's move down a little bit here. We are going to make this work by going in between here. Okay. Excuse me while I take the starting point all apart. Okay, so we got the pink going into this little corner here. I need to put something on there. Okay. Oh yes, there's always room for Jell-O. I definitely remember that campaign. Kai has another question. How do you come up with your family aliases? And can you make me up a name, says Kai, because they're pretty cool names. Ah, well, thank you. So the other names all came because of the Glitter Girl concept. So we started there. And then I thought, well, I don't really want to keep... I don't want to keep other people's regular names if I'm using Glitter Girl as this character. So we started there and then thought, well, and the Adhesive Avenger was doing the voiceovers. So we said, well, he needs something. And so we thought, Adhesive Avenger. The funny part I didn't think of is Adhesive Avenger then got shortened to the AA, which confuses people in 2 directions, because if you write down the AA, you either think of the car mechanic people who you buy a subscription to and they come help you, which I know in America is AAA, but in this country it's just the AA. So there's that, or Alcoholics Anonymous. And neither were a reference to my husband in either way. We were just like Adhesive Avenger, a little bit of alliteration and a superhero kind of word. So that's where we started. And then WB is Wonder Boy because, because it was like a youthful name, like Boy Wonder, but Wonder Boy. And because he was my scientific wonder. Yeah, so that's where that came from. A wonder in more than one way is what I was saying when we decided to give him a little character name too. Melissa, I'm behind on those and I need to do one soon. Maybe at the Gap when the classes finish, maybe I'll do that then. Melissa was asking about a video using all my collections together on one layout. So I definitely want to. I just know that I can't commit to it right now because I've all the extra non-live stream filming time is booked for classes. But there'll be a little gap, and maybe in between then I can do some stuff like that. Okay, I'm quite happy with this, but we do have some open space here. I haven't actually left myself a lot of writing space, so let's talk about writing places. Kai, I'm not forgetting about giving you a nickname. I just gotta think about it for a minute. So you could write straight onto the background in both corners. That would work. But we've also got places that we could add in things here. Oh, Joanna had a question too. Hold on, let me scroll up. Joanna, oh, I did, and oh, Michelle says, does WB go by WB everywhere? Pretty much, I mean, he definitely answers to it. It depends on where we are if they will call him that by default. A few places do, and a few other places don't. But if you call him WB or Wonder Boy, he definitely will turn around. Okay, Joanna's question was, I've noticed in albums from about 5 years ago, the photos I printed on the selfie are going very dark. Is this happening to anyone else? Okay. Anybody else want to chip in with their answers? Because I have not had changes in mine. But if you do, please do shout. All right. So things that we could pop in here. Purple's kind of too far off. Okay. And we've got these words. What about these? I think there's a little pink one in here that we could go with. Somewhere in here. There's an orange. Okay, here we go. All right. So I was thinking those two. Let me figure out where they should go. Pam and Corey say their prints are fine. Cool. I should go back. The oldest ones I have would be WB's baby album because I got my selfie so that I could print wirelessly from being pinned with a baby on the sofa. So those would be the first ones. Go here. So those would be 11 years old now. We can build a little bit in this space. Okay, so that was this one and this one. Okay, so if we've got multiple people saying they're fine, and Joanna, yours are having trouble, let's look at other things it could be. Page protector situation, albums flat or upright, albums out of the sun, anything else that could cause aging heat. If we got our albums having a lot of hot and cold or extreme heat, anything like that. It's too big. Okay. orangey one, I think. Build into the doodle this way. Yeah. It's maybe too high. Build into the doodle this way. Yeah. But then let's go here too. Okay, we've got the gold, so I don't want to mix the iridescent in. But we could put in something like that. I know that would work well there, but it doesn't work with that placement doesn't work with the paper. So we're just going to not worry about this bit. I'm just deciding, do I keep the speech tag or do I cut that into a little bobble? I think I'm gonna cut it. Which is always gonna go a little bit wrong, and I'm probably gonna hate myself for this choice. It's okay, it's just paper, don't be hard on yourself. Speak to your creative side like someone you love. Okay. So we've got that there. There. Okay, let's put some gold on it and then sort out some journaling. Sheila says, yeah, also humidity. Yep. Georgia, yeah, it's 20 minutes of work and then she's going to face plant that sofa. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Kai, what is the most comfortable position on a sofa? Georgia needs your help. Pam always suspects heat is an issue. One year she ruined several rolls of ATG adhesive by storing it next to a furnace. And one year there was a massive, a massive amount of Hermafix refills in the UK that were all not working properly. And we very much suspected that they were in a container that froze. Like, because of the timing of it and the fact that they arrived everywhere. Yeah. So extreme temperatures and paper crafts. They don't work well. I feel like Kelly should be our expert on this. Do we have any more Alaska crew? Although sometimes I have to laugh because Stephanie Howell, who used to scrapbook and lives in Alaska, she's lived many places, military family, but she's in Alaska again. And sometimes she posts things because if you have a bit of warm weather, it's something to celebrate there, of course. And she'll like post that she's out in like a tank top or flip-flops or whatever. And I post back a picture of myself in my parka. So it is often warmer there than it is here, but they do get significantly more snow. Right. So gold there, let's look at a little bit of adhesive, not adhesive, we're just talking about adhesive. A little bit of journaling potential and then let's be done. Okay, so this yellow ended up here and here. That's okay. Ooh, Lisa was scrapping along with me today. She started with the same base shapes but different papers and embellishments, and she feels liberated. That is the sort of thing I am here for. I love it when you can feel like you made some progress and did something independently with just a little bit of inspiration rather than having to follow individual steps and not necessarily knowing why something does or does not work. Okay, I think strip journaling here. And I think label punch in the little one this one. Yeah, she is still in Alaska. Yeah, she's in her second Alaska location. But yes, I miss her scrapbooking style. It was beautiful. She did try returning for a little bit, and it just was not her jam because there's just a bit too much emotional attachment, I think, to her experience working in the industry. But she gives great book reviews, in my opinion. I have never been led astray by a Stephanie Howe book recommendation. So she does talk a lot about that. Right, so we're going to go here to put the name of the place. But where do I want that to go? Because it's exactly the same width as that. Let's go zigzag that way. Okay. And then we'll do, now, if these strips magically change length or anything when I get it all written, just understand that the story made that happen. But I'm going to try cutting them and putting them on to work. So we've got that. So they're 1/4 inch strips. Okay. So we'll go 1. And I know that I can, because I'm going to do the page with pockets next to it, I can always add more journaling there. So I don't need to tell every detail just in these 3 lines. It's okay. Okay, ink these, glue them down. That's where the journaling is going to go. Nikki says this is a clever idea. It's a really old trend. We did a lot of this in the early 2000s. But I still love it. There we are. Okay, so I think that's where we finish it. I am going to ink the outside of this one. I don't always do that, but I think I want this outside edge to just look a little bit softer. It's basically just me reacting to, as close as I get to white cardstock without panicking. There we are. So let's have a little zoom in. So the top section looks like that. Bottom section down here. There is our finished version. We can have another little earthquake here, but something, oh, was it my drink that's putting a shadow on everything. Cool. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you could make it. And if you watch on the replay, it would be lovely to hear from you in the comments too. And if you make anything inspired by this, or you use the starting point in any way, I would love for you to share it. You can put it in the Facebook group, or you can put it on Instagram and tag me, anything like that. Lisa says, are the yellow strips for journaling? Yes, so the writing is going to go there, and I'm going to put the name of the place here. If I need a little bit more journaling space, I could put it here too, but I also wanted to have at least some section where you could see what was on that paper. Right. I think that's everything. Thank you so much. If you want to take a class this week, that would be great. I will say, if you have lots of old stash, We are just starting the second half of New Pages from Old Stash. So now is a great time to join. It's $20 and you actually get 2 classes because you get New Pages from Old Stash, but you also get an older class called Clear the Desk if you don't have that already, which was all about using up supplies so that you'd have more room to buy new things. So they go hand in hand, even though they're completely different layouts and ideas and stuff like that. So if you would like to join me, you can find that in the very first post at shimelle.com. It is if you go to the first blog post, then it's the last class mentioned. Does that make sense? And I'd love for you to join so that you can join in. Sorry, Sam, we're not having a real earthquake. Sorry. I'm not in an earthquake zone at all. But the camera shakes when I take the screenshot in order to share the before and after. So that's why I just say earthquake so that you know when it judders on your page, everything's okay. It's just me making that little screen cap. Cool. Thank you so much. And I will see you, if you're just here on YouTube, I will see you Friday. If you're in classes, I will see you in the middle of the week. Have a great one. Thanks so much. And if you want to give it a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. Bye. Also, bye, Kai. Hope you feel a little bit better.